Most unknown place in the world to travel. Imagine standing somewhere so remote that your phone hasn't had signal in 3 days, the nearest town is a boat ride and a hike away, and the only people who know this place exists are the handful who've actually been there. No crowds, no influencers blocking your shot, no line for the perfect angle, just you, and a landscape that barely feels like it belongs on this planet. Most travel channels show you the same 20 destinations on repeat. Machu Picchu, Santorini, Bali. Beautiful places, sure, but you've already seen them 1,000 times. Today, we're doing something different. We combed through geography databases, remote travel communities, and reports from the handful of travelers who've actually made it to these places to bring you 10 destinations so unknown, so hard to reach, that most people don't even know they exist. Some of these barely have roads. One of them has a population you could fit in a school bus. By the end of this video, you'll have a bucket list that nobody else on your feed has. And stick around till the end. Number 1 has one of the wildest backstories of any place on Earth, and it will shock you. Let's get into it. Number 10. Kandovan, Iran. At first glance, Kandovan looks like something out of a fantasy film. A village of cone-shaped homes carved directly into volcanic rock, some of them over 700 years old. The formations look almost identical to the famous fairy chimneys of Cappadocia, except almost nobody outside Iran has heard of this place. The homes aren't replicas or tourist attractions built to look old. Families still live inside these rock cones today, many of them multiple stories tall, carved out by hand generations ago. The village sits near a natural mineral spring believed locally to have healing properties, and the surrounding valley is lush and green, a striking contrast to the reddish-brown stone dwellings. Here's the catch. Getting there requires navigating Iran's visa process, which can be a genuine hurdle for many nationalities, and English is rarely spoken once you're outside major cities. This is a destination for the traveler who wants an authentic cultural experience over convenience, not a spot for a quick weekend getaway. Number 9. Lake Retba, Senegal. Picture a lake the color of strawberry milkshake, sitting quietly along the coast of West Africa. Lake Retba, known locally as Lac Rose, gets its shocking pink hue from a specific type of algae that thrives in its extremely salty water, similar in salinity to the Dead Sea. Locals have harvested salt from this lake for generations, and you can actually watch workers wade into the pink water for hours at a time, protected by shea butter to guard their skin from the salt. The color is most vivid during the dry season under strong sunlight, so timing your visit matters. The trade-off here is accessibility mixed with unpredictability. The pink color fluctuates depending on weather and season, so some visitors arrive expecting a vivid magenta lake and find a much subtler rose tint instead. It's best suited for travelers who are already exploring Senegal and want a surreal add-on, rather than those making a dedicated trip just for the color. Number 8. Semuc, Champey, Guatemala. Deep in the Guatemalan jungle, far from any major road, sits a series of turquoise pools, stacked like natural infinity pools, layered over a limestone bridge with a raging river running underneath it. The pools themselves are fed by mineral-rich water that gives them that impossible blue-green shade. To really understand this place, you climb to a viewpoint called El Mirador, a steep, sweaty hike that rewards you with a postcard view of all the pools at once. Locals also offer tubing trips through the underground caves beneath the pools, guided only by candlelight. Here's the trade-off. The journey to get here is rough. Think hours of bumpy dirt roads from the nearest town, and once you arrive, infrastructure is minimal. Expect basic accommodations, not luxury. This spot is perfect for adventure travelers who don't mind roughing it for a payoff most people will never see in person. Number 7. Fairy Meadows, Pakistan. Fairy Meadows sits at the base of Nanga Parbat, the 9th highest mountain in the world, nicknamed Killer Mountain for its brutal technical climbing routes. But you don't need to be a mountaineer to experience the meadow itself, a lush, green plateau with a jaw-dropping direct view of the peak's sheer face. The trek-in is part of the story. After a hair-raising jeep ride up a narrow mountain road, you hike the final stretch on foot, passing through pine forests before the meadow opens up in front of you. Camping here under a clear night sky, with one of the world's deadliest peaks looming above, is an experience very few travelers outside Pakistan even know is possible. The catch: this is not a beginner destination. The jeep road is notoriously dangerous, and the region requires some physical fitness and tolerance for basic conditions. This is a bucket list spot for serious trekkers and mountain lovers, not casual sightseers. Number 6. Ittoqqortoormiit, Greenland. If you want to know what true isolation looks like, this is it. Ittoqqortoormiit is one of the most remote inhabited settlements on Earth, home to around 350 people, surrounded by the largest fjord system in the world, and pack ice for much of the year. There are no roads connecting this village to anywhere else. The only way in is by small aircraft or, during the brief ice-free season, by boat. Once you're there, you can spot polar bears, musk oxen, and the northern lights with almost no light pollution and almost no other tourists competing for the view. Here's the reality check. Flights are infrequent, weather can strand you for days, and there are no real hotels, just a handful of guest houses. This destination is for the traveler chasing genuine, unfiltered remoteness, not comfort or convenience. Number 5. The Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. This is one of the most hostile environments on the planet, and one of the most visually alien. The Danakil Depression holds the record as one of the hottest inhabited places on Earth, with active volcanoes, bubbling sulfur springs in shades of neon yellow and green, and vast salt flats stretching to the horizon. At its center sits Retba, one of the only volcanoes on Earth with a semi-permanent lava lake, which you can view up close at night after a multi-hour trek across volcanic rock. Local Afar communities still mine salt from the flats by hand, using camel caravans to transport it, much as they have for centuries. The trade-off is intensity, extreme heat, minimal infrastructure, and a level of physical demand that isn't for everyone. This trip is best suited to serious adventure travelers with a guide. Solo travel here isn't realistic or advisable. Number 4. Socotra, Yemen. Socotra looks like nowhere else on Earth, and that's not an exaggeration. Roughly a third of its plant species exist nowhere else in the world, including the surreal dragon's blood tree, shaped like an umbrella and named for its deep red sap. Because Socotra split from the African mainland millions of years ago, its isolation created an entirely unique ecosystem. Otherworldly rock formations, pristine white sand beaches with almost nobody on them, and caves so vast some remain only partially explored. Locals describe the island as a place frozen in time, both ecologically and culturally. The honest catch? Yemen's ongoing instability makes this one of the more complicated destinations on this list to visit safely and legally, and travel typically requires arranging a permit and guide well in advance. This is a spot for the seasoned, well-prepared traveler who wants to see something genuinely unlike anywhere else, not a casual detour. Number 3. Raja Ampat, Indonesia. Raja Ampat sits at the heart of what marine biologists call the Coral Triangle, and it holds the title of having the highest marine biodiversity on the planet. More species of coral and fish here than almost anywhere else on Earth. Towering limestone karsts rise straight out of turquoise water, dotted with hidden lagoons only accessible by kayak. Divers describe entire reef walls so densely packed with color and life that it feels almost unreal. Above the water, tiny fishing villages dot the islands, offering a glimpse into a slower, sea-based way of life that has remained largely unchanged for generations. The catch? Reaching Raja Ampat takes real effort, multiple flights followed by a boat journey, and prices for boat charters and eco-lodges can add up quickly since everything must be shipped in. This is the ultimate destination for divers and marine life lovers willing to invest the time and money to get there. Number 2. Tristan da Cunha. This is, quite literally, the most remote inhabited island group on the planet. Tristan da Cunha sits in the middle of the South Atlantic, nearly 1,500 miles from the nearest inhabited land. Around 250 people live here, all sharing just a handful of surnames from the original settlers. There's no airport. The only way to reach Tristan da Cunha is by boat, a journey that can take almost a week from South Africa, and departures happen only a handful of times a year. Once you arrive, you'll find a single village, dramatic volcanic cliffs, and a community that still lives largely off fishing and small-scale farming. The trade-off is obvious. This isn't a trip you can plan on short notice, and there's no guarantee of good weather for the crossing. This destination is for travelers chasing true bragging rights, the kind of place fewer people have visited than the summit of Everest. Number 1. The Pitcairn Islands. At the very top of our list is a place with one of the most incredible backstories in the world. The Pitcairn Islands are home to the descendants of the Bounty mutineers, the sailors who, in 1789, seized control of a British ship and vanished into the Pacific to escape justice. Their descendants still live here today, and the entire population numbers around 40 people. There are no hotels chains, no airports, and no scheduled flights. The only way to reach Pitcairn is a supply ship that runs a handful of times a year from New Zealand, followed by days at sea. Once you arrive, locals will show you Bounty Bay, the shipwreck site, and share stories passed down through generations about their mutineer ancestors. The catch is simple. This is arguably the hardest inhabited place in the world to reach on this entire list. But that's exactly the point. If you make it here, you'll have visited a place that even most seasoned travelers have never heard of, let alone stepped foot on. And there you have it. 10 places that prove the most unforgettable destinations on Earth aren't always the ones flooding your social feed. The real adventure isn't chasing the same landmarks everyone else has already photographed. It's finding the places barely anyone else knows to look for. So tell me, of these 10, which one would you actually risk the journey for? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this opened your eyes to a new kind of bucket list, stick around, because the next video reveals the destinations even seasoned travelers are afraid to visit.